जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रजजनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रजजनरंजन यमुनतीरावनचारी यमुनतीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुनतीरावनचारी यमुनतीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी वंशपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की ISKCON founder आचार्य BBT founder आचार्य जगत गुरु सेवियर ऑफ द होल वर्ल्ड पतित पावन श्रील प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की ISKCON हैदराबाद भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री कृष्ण जन्माष्टमी महोत्सव की गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru Gauranga and Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. No TV? Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. You don't have the TV. So I'm reading Canto 10, Chapter 9, Shloka number 9. I repeat, Canto 10, Chapter 9, Shloka number 9. I will read. You can hear, then we'll have a class. Tamatayastim prashamikshya satvaras tato varuhya pasasara bhitavad gopi anvadhavan nayamapa apayoginam kshamam praveshtum tapaseritam manaha. Please repeat after me. Tam, onto Mother Yashoda, Atayastim, carrying in her hand a stick, Prashamikshya, Krishna seeing her in that attitude, Satvaraha, very quickly, Tataha, from there, Avaruhya, getting down, Apasasara, began to flee, Bhitavat, as if very much afraid, Gopi, Mother Yashoda, Anvadhavat, began to follow him. Na, not Yam, on to whom Apa, failed to reach Yoginam, of great yogis, mystics. Kshamam, who could reach him. Praveshtum, trying to enter into Brahman effulgence, or Paramatma, Tapasa, with great austerities and penances. Tritam, trying for that purpose. Manaha, by meditation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When Lord Shri Krishna saw his mother, stick in hand, he very quickly got down from the top of the mortar and began to flee as if very much afraid. Although yogis tried to capture him as Paramatma by meditation, desiring to enter into the effulgence of the Lord with great austerities and penances, they failed to reach him. But Mother Yashoda, thinking that same personality of Godhead Krishna to be her son, began following Krishna to catch him. Purport: yogis, mystics want to catch Krishna as Paramatma, and with great austerities and penances, they try to approach him, yet they cannot. Here we see, however, that Krishna is going to be caught by Yashoda and is running away in fear. This illustrates the difference between the bhakta and the yogi. Yogis cannot reach Krishna. But for pure devotees like Mother Yashoda, Krishna is already caught. Krishna was even afraid of Mother Yashoda's stick. This was mentioned by Queen Kunti in her prayers. Bhaya bhavanaya sthitasya. Bhagavatam 1831. Krishna is afraid of Mother Yashoda and yogis are afraid of Krishna. I repeat, Krishna is afraid of Mother Yashoda and the yogis are afraid of Krishna. Yogis try to reach Krishna by Jnana Yoga and other yogas but fail. Yet although Mother Yashoda was a woman, Krishna was afraid of her, as clearly described in this verse. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya. My diary is it? Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat after me. Although yogis tried to capture him as Paramatma by meditation, desiring to enter into the effulgence of the Lord with great austerities and penances, they failed to reach him. But Mother Yashoda, thinking that same personality of Godhead, Krishna, to be her son, began following Krishna to catch him. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So in many parts of South India, I guess North also, today they are celebrating Shri Krishna Janmashtami. In some parts they are celebrating tomorrow. So today and tomorrow is like the Shri Krishna Janmashtami festival, the appearance day of Shri Krishna. So we all know that Mother Yashoda and Krishna shared a very special relationship. Krishna was very dear to Mother Yashoda, and Mother Yashoda also was very dear to Krishna. In fact, it is mentioned as it is the pinnacle, it is the highest perfection of the Vatsalya Rasa. In other words, Vatsalya means affection for a child in the form of a son or a daughter. So Mother Yashoda always looked at Krishna as her son, nothing more. Nothing more than that. For her, Krishna was her son. Whereas for the whole world, for the whole universe, Krishna was the supreme personality, supreme Lord, the creator, the maintainer, the sustainer, everything, the destroyer, the protector. For the whole world, Krishna was, whole universe actually, Krishna was like that. But as far as Mother Yashoda is concerned, she only looked at Krishna as her son. So you could say that within the limits of Vrindavan, Gokul Vrindavan, Krishna was always treated like a son. Or he was treated by the others of Vrindavan, Gokul Vrindavan, as the son of Yashoda, that's all. Nothing more. And this is described as a very special, very unique relationship that Krishna had. You could say something like the kind of friendship that Krishna had with Arjuna. Arjuna was in the Sakya Rasa. So Krishna was very friendly with him, very friendly. At times it is seen that Krishna and Arjuna would lie down on the same bed. And in a very, very affectionate, mutual, friendly way. Sometimes Arjuna's leg would be on Krishna's body and like that. Sometimes Arjuna's legs were all over, on Krishna's body, and Krishna would stretch his leg like that sometimes. So somebody walks into the room, they will look at Krishna and Arjuna as being very close, intimate friends. But for the rest of the world, Krishna was Krishna, rest of the universe. Similarly, in Golok in Vrindavan, in Gokul Vrindavan, where all the residents of Vrindavan were staying, many people had Sakya Rasa, some people had Vatsalya, and some of the gopis and Radharani principally enjoyed the Madhurya Rasa. Now, this is very different from the rasa that Krishna enjoyed in Mathura and Dwarka. In Mathura and Dwarka also, Devaki and Vasudeva, for a short period of time, they looked at Krishna as their child. But we must remember that Krishna appeared there in his four-armed form. So more or less, we could say that Devaki and Vasudeva were a little conscious that Krishna was the Supreme Lord. Because he appeared as Vishnu, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. When he appeared out of the womb of Devaki, he appeared like Vishnu. And then Devaki had to request him, "My Lord, please don't appear like this. I'm afraid what will happen to you. Kamsa, I don't know what he will do to you." So Krishna withdrew two arms and became like a baby boy, just like anybody else. So, but whereas from the time Krishna was in Vrindavan, he very rarely, there is no big pastime where Krishna shows his four-handed form as Vishnu. He's always Krishna. That's because it is also mentioned that Krishna wanted to enjoy being the recipient of love and affection, Madhurya, Vatsalya, Sakya, from all his friends. He didn't want them to know. He didn't want them to feel or know or get intimidated, thinking, "Oh, I'm talking to Krishna, the Supreme Lord." He didn't want them to know at all. It's a bit like Lord Chaitanya. When someone would go to Lord Chaitanya and say, "You're Krishna, you're God, you're none other than God," Lord Chaitanya would say, No, stop, close his ears. He didn't like it. He came in the form of a devotee and he wanted to relish being a devotee of Krishna. Similarly, Krishna wanted to relish, enjoy that bhava of receiving spontaneous affection, which he was getting in Vrindavan, Gokul, where Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda were staying initially. So it said that Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Maiya were great devotees in their previous life. Dhara and Drona, they performed a lot of tapasya. That means they were worshipping Krishna. They were praying, you could say Vishnu or whatever. And they were praying that one time, please give us a chance to serve you. As parents, serve you. And they performed great tapasya for more than 1,000 celestial years. Celestial means years according to the calculation of the Devatas. That's big. That's a very big number. It's maybe thousands of times more longer than our time. Because you have to understand that one, what is it? According to the Devata scale of calculation, one yuga sees 14 manus, something like that. So one yuga, typically Kali Yuga. So their scale is different. It's thousands of times longer than us. So 1000 celestial years, Dhara and Drona performed tapasya. And it is said that they were eating only dried leaves. And they were doing this prayer, intensely praying to Krishna. Then it is said that Krishna agrees to their prayer. They say, please give us a chance to serve you. Similarly, Devaki and Vasudeva also were praying. In their previous life, Vasudeva was Sutapa and Devaki was Prishni. So Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda were praying, Devaki and Prishni were praying. Devaki and Vasudeva, that means Prishni and Sutapa were praying. They also performed austerity. They also had a prayer. They said, please appear from our womb. That means give us a chance to become your parents. They did not specifically say, we want to see your childhood leelas. So Krishna said, all right, I will appear. And Krishna, it is said, satisfies them 3 times. One time he is born as Prishni Garbha, one time he is born as Vamana, when they become Aditi and Kashyapa. And the 3rd time he appears as Krishna. Vasudeva Krishna. 3 times he satisfies their desires. But whereas Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, in their previous life, they were Drona and Dhara, Krishna blesses them. He says, all right, now you can participate in all my childhood leelas as mother and father. So that's the background. So as far as Yashoda is concerned, Nanda Maharaj is concerned, Krishna is their child. That's all. Nothing more. Sometimes Nanda Maharaj would get confused. He says, because all the elderly Gopa friends would come and gather together and they would talk. Your son is doing so many extraordinary things. Not ordinary. Every day he seems to kill one demon, very powerful demon. Every day, one or the other demon he is killing. Every day so much excitement, adventure he is doing. I don't know how he could lift that Govardhan mountain, keep it like that for 7 days and 7 nights. Surely he is not an ordinary child. So Nanda Maharaj also will agree. He will say, yeah, I also feel sometimes that my child is not an ordinary child. How can anybody lift the Govardhan mountain for 7 days and 7 nights? Nanda Maharaj is also feeling. And then Nanda Maharaj tells everybody, actually, you know what? When Krishna was born, Krishna appeared, I called this Gargamuni, the family astrologer, to come and make his chart. Gargamuni came and made his chart secretly because everybody is afraid of Kamsa. If Kamsa comes to know that one child is born here, who knows, he may send some demons. So secretly they do the Jataka, naming ceremony, etc. in the Goshala. It's very nice actually. It appears that all these ceremonies were held in the Goshala, but in a very indirect way, or shall we say direct way, Krishna is showing how important the Gomata is, the universal mother, Gomata. So all his Jata Karma is done in the Goshala. So Gargamuni gives name. And then Gargamuni tells Nanda Maharaj, and your son is not an ordinary son. Gargamuni can make out by looking at the chart, and even otherwise he is a great sage. That is the Supreme Lord who has appeared here as the son of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. But Nanda Maharaj also, like Yashoda, he was in a very paternal mood. That means Vatsalya Bhav. For him, Krishna is just a child. I have to protect him. This Krishna, who is actually protector of the whole universe, But when he comes into Vrindavan, Gokul Vrindavan, he becomes somebody whom they protect. They are unaware. So Garga Muni tells Nanda Maharaj, very nicely he tells, very nice conversation they have. Garga Muni says, this son of yours was born before also many times. Nanda Maharaj says, all right, yes, very good. So what was he born as? And Garga Muni says, in every yuga he appears. And every time he appears, there's a big celebration. And in every yuga, he appears with a different bodily color, hue. Sometimes white, sometimes green, sometimes blackish. But he appears in every yuga. Nanda Maharaj says, all right, all right. Then next, Garga Muni says, wherever he appears, he brings happiness, bliss, joy. Nanda Maharaj says, yes, I can't disagree with you. From the time Krishna has appeared here, there is so much happiness. I am not able to describe. Why? Suddenly everybody is happy. Actually, residents of Gokul Vrindavan are always happy. Because even before Krishna appears, Krishna sends Balaram and Yogamaya. And they make everything so favorable for Krishna's appearance. And they're all pure devotees. Pure devotees become very happy easily whenever they're with Krishna, chanting Krishna's name with devotees, serving Krishna. They become very happy. So, everybody is happy. But suddenly from the appearance of Krishna, they become even more happy. Billions of times more happy. So, Nanda Maharaj says to Garga Muni, I can't disagree with you. I tend to agree that somehow from the time Krishna appeared, we are more happy. Happiness is multiplied billions of times. Then Garga Muni says, this child of yours protects Dharma, protects all these people, he protects his devotees. Like that, he goes on telling. Then after some time, Nanda Maharaj will think, why he is glorifying my son so much? In the Bhagavatam, it is mentioned, Acharyas say that Garga Muni, Nanda Maharaj is thinking, sometimes these sadhus are like that. They exaggerate. They speak too much. Because maybe they are thinking that I will give better dakshina. I will give more dakshina. So that is why they are glorifying my child. It's all right, let him say. Somehow it is very nice to hear whatever Garga Muni is saying about my child. Somehow I feel very blissful when I am hearing this. Though at the back of my mind I think he's exaggerating a little bit, but I'm kind of liking it. So Garga Muni says that he's a protector. He protects Dharma. He protects everybody who comes to him. Like that, Garga Muni goes on. Nanda Maharaj hears everything. And then he will think, when they are all discussing later on different pastimes, this is the power of Vatsalya Bhava in Gokul Vrindavan, Nanda Maharaj, etc. Later on, Nanda Maharaj and others will conclude, somebody will say, ultimately they will say, maybe he's a powerful Devata or somebody who was incarnated here. Something like that they will feel. But nobody feels he is Krishna. He is the Supreme Lord. Because that's the power of Yogamaya. Krishna sends Yogamaya. Yogamaya is present always in Gokul Vrindavan. But the Acharyas say she is present invisibly. She is not present in the form of a body. Yogamaya. Yogamaya is always there. Krishna's sister. But she is present invisibly. And she is always arranging for the Leela of Krishna. So this is an example of Vatsalya Rasa. But then you see, the Vatsalya of Krishna, Vatsalya of the devotees of Krishna in Gokul is very special. It has a separate brand name. It is said that Devaki also felt Vatsalya, Vasudeva also. But that was a little different. It was called Aishwarya Vatsalya. Aishwarya Vatsalya. It's called Aishwarya Vatsalya because there's a little bit of Aishwarya mixed into it. That means to some degree, actually to a great degree, they're aware that this child is not an ordinary child, it's Vishnu himself. So it's called Aishwarya Vatsalya. But whereas Yashoda Maiya and others in Vrindavan, the mothers of Vrindavan, Gokul Vrindavan, their Vatsalya Bhava was very different. It was untouched by even a tinge of this feeling that this little child is the Supreme Lord. Untouched. For them, he is their child. That's all. Whatever he is outside Gokul. But here is a child. So that kind of a mood is given a highest rating. So that's called Madhurya Vatsalya. That means not only is there spontaneous, very intense loving affection for Krishna, but the point is that, the more important point is that it is untouched by this feeling that Krishna is a Lord. It doesn't exist. So when Nanda Maharaj is discussing Garga Muni's prediction, in the end they will think, somebody will say maybe he's incarnation of Narayana. Somebody else will say, no, maybe he's incarnation of some powerful Devata who has come here to protect us from Kamsa or whatever, or something like that. But nowhere is it felt or understood or realized that this little child is Krishna, like it is mentioned in today's verse. Millions of yogis all over the universe are trying to capture him. Capture him means keep him in their heart, meditate on his lotus feet, meditate on his glories. And they're not able to do so. They're not able to do so. In spite of so many. So in other words, we can say that austerities or whatever, being scholars, that's not the way to get Krishna. The way to get Krishna is ultimately one has to develop affection, spontaneous affection, love, unconditional service attitude, like that. It's not scholarliness. Somebody can quote 100 slokas of the Bhagavatam. No, these things somehow don't impress Krishna too much. They don't impress Krishna too much. What impresses and what attracts Krishna is that when somebody is willing to do anything for him, in love, in affection, in a mood of spontaneous affection. So there's a huge difference. I told you how in Mathura, the mood is very different. The Mathura mood is Aishwarya, because they're aware. But in Vrindavan, nobody is aware that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So here it is said that for some, because the yogis, the munis, maybe they're mixed with some pride, some arrogance or whatever, that they are scholars, they know, they've studied Vedas, they know everything or something. Krishna becomes distant to them. Their understanding of Krishna is, what can we say, is very external. Krishna is God, maybe, I'm his servant. But there's a huge gap. But for the mothers of Vrindavan, it's very different. Krishna becomes a little helpless child. When Krishna appears, they're passing Krishna from one hand to another hand, and Krishna is acting like a very helpless, natural child. And it is said, actually one of the reasons, of course we always say paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Krishna appears to establish dharma, defeat adharmic people like Duryodhana and his family and his friends and associates. But he also comes to establish dharma, makes Yudhishthira the king, etc. But there's another dharma that Krishna establishes. While establishing Yudhishthira as a king is one part of his duty and responsibility, there's another type of dharma Krishna establishes. That other type of dharma is connected with, the phenomena of bhakti. Bhakti between Krishna and his devotees, and different types of bhakti, and how that is the swarupa. The basic dharma of the living entity is bhakti. So Krishna comes to establish that also. And then he wants to show, there is the Dasya Rasa, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Shows 5 different categories. So that's a more fundamental dharma. Whereas one type of dharma can be called as Varnashrama type of a dharma. The dharma of the living entity, the living entity is meant to be servant of Krishna in one of the 5 moods. And how Krishna actually reciprocates with all these 5, the Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, etc. So that's, Krishna comes to establish the type of dharma also. The supremacy of bhakti and so on. So Krishna is just being passed around. Now Krishna It is said that when the Lord appears, from the time Krishna appears, it is said that Yashoda Maiya's eyes were never dry. She was always, she had tears in her eyes. Either it was tears of anxiety for Krishna, the welfare of Krishna, the protection of Krishna, concern for Krishna, fear and anxiety for Krishna. It is said that when Yashoda Maiya went to see Krishna for the first time, Krishna's body was so indescribably beautiful, was so gentle, was so tender, like it's mentioned in the scripture. It's like a newly blooming shoot of a creeper or newly blooming bud of a tree, a bud of a flower. Very gentle, very soft. And Krishna had a very effulgence in his body. That's why when the gopis would lock up their butter in different rooms, lock up the windows and the doors, keep the room dark so that Krishna can't find the butter. When Krishna would enter the room, he and Balaram's bodily effulgence lit up the whole room more than the sun. He was like that. By the way, he had jewels also. Jewels. And Krishna himself was so. Krishna's body is not like what we imagine, right? Krishna's body is very made up of Satchidananda. Our body is made of Panchabhuta. Krishna's body is made up of Satchidananda. There's happiness, there's eternity, there's knowledge, eternity, like that. Conscious, it's a conscious body. Every anga is. So when Yashoda Maiya saw Krishna for the first time, it is said that she could see the reflection of her face on Krishna's chest. That's how brilliant Krishna's body was. How unnaturally brilliant. Krishna is showing at every step also, by the way. He's not like any other child. You can't even compare. So his body is reflecting. And Yashoda Maiya looks at her reflection, and for some strange reason, she thinks she sees a ghost or something. And she panics out of love and concern and fear for Krishna. She panics. She's shouting, go away, because she sees some ghost in the reflection. Actually, Yashoda Maiya is kind of hallucinating a little bit, imagining that maybe there's a ghost in the room. Maybe there's somebody who has come to harm Krishna. So she's screaming, saying, go away, go away, go away. Everybody is surprised. They ask Yashoda Maiya, what happened? What did you see? Then Yashoda Maiya starts looking around and she sees that only she could saw the ghost in the reflection on Krishna's body. Then she kind of pacifies herself, saying, okay, there's no risk or threat for Krishna now. That wasn't a ghost. It was just my mind playing a trick on me. But the point is, it shows that even an imagined threat for Krishna makes Yashoda Maiya very panic-stricken. Even if she imagines that maybe there'll be a ghost will come or a demon will come, Yashoda Maiya becomes panic-stricken and she starts, becomes full of anxiety and panic. In other words, we say she has a panic attack. She's saying, what will happen to my Krishna? Is she safe? Is he safe? So it said that every time Krishna would go to the forest to graze the cows, this was the beginning of the most painful part of the day for Yashoda. Most painful. Actually, when you read the scripture, it's a very heart-touching explanation. The most difficult part of the day was when Krishna would go to tend the cows. Yashoda Maiya would think, I can't keep him. He has to get trained. He's going to be the king next. He has to go to take care of the cows and the calves. But it's so painful to see him go. It said that Yashoda Maiya's one eye would always be looking out of the door, out of the window, waiting when Krishna will come back. And whenever she finishes her work, she'll come, stand on the veranda and look in the direction where Krishna is supposed to come. And she's shedding tears. Why Krishna has not yet come? What happened to Surya Deva? Why he is marching so slowly today? Why can't he, like that? It is a very, very advanced, I can't say advanced, It's one of the purest, among the pure forms of ecstatic Vatsalya Bhav for Krishna. Nobody can imitate. Nobody can even imagine. Should just cry, sit there on the veranda, look into the direction when Krishna is supposed to come and shedding tears of fear, anxiety. What's happening to Krishna? Is he okay? Is he having some trouble there? Are everybody taking care of him nicely? Is he hungry? Is he thirsty? Did he hurt himself? This is the only thing that's happening. Even while she's doing her household chores, she's thinking of Krishna in that fashion. So, the scriptures say that there was never a moment when Yashoda Maiya's eyes were without tears. So that time there was tears of anxiety. And when she sees the dust created by the hoofs of the cows and the calves, Yashoda Maiya's, her tears become tears of joy. My Krishna is back. My Krishna is coming back. So there was never a moment when her eyes were dry or something. So that is why in the Vedic, especially Srimad Bhagavatam and few other supplementary literatures written by our acharyas, there are pages and pages and pages of description about Yashoda. Pages and pages of description about Yashoda. In fact, the great acharyas of our parampara have even composed songs glorifying Yashoda. Very unique position they have given to me. So in one sense, all the mothers of Vrindavan are special. Rohini Mata is very special in her own way. The elderly gopis of Vrindavan are also special, because it is said that when Brahma stole the cows and calves, for some mystical reason, the elderly gopis, because Krishna couldn't get the cow's milk or something like that, it's explained. I don't know, in one of the kalpas, maybe Krishna didn't expand the cows and calves, or something like that. I just couldn't fathom it out clearly. But it said that for a year, the elderly gopis of Vrindavan breastfed Krishna. So imagine, they were also ecstatic. Actually, Krishna is trying to satisfy them also, because many of them felt, how nice it would be if I could feed Krishna one day. If I could feed Krishna. But then you see, they felt like that, but Bhagavatam also says that they didn't feel any envy towards Yashoda. Yashoda serving Krishna, pampering Krishna, whatever, the same as they. And Yashoda also was like that. Krishna was kind of son of everybody in Vrindavan. He was the favorite son of everybody in Vrindavan. Everybody loved him. Everybody liked him. Everybody would run behind him. Everybody thought only about Krishna. Everybody. There was no jealousy at home. It's not that I have a son, but I love Krishna more. Yeah, everybody seemed to like it because even the children liked Krishna more. It's like how Lord Rama was liked by everybody, including Kaikeyi initially. Everybody loved Lord Rama. Krishna is like that. So everybody loved Krishna, no envy. But somehow they got to feed Krishna for about a year. So Krishna satisfied their urge also. He drank milk from them and blessed them. So Yashoda Maiya is, when she first saw Krishna, she kind of rubbed her eyes to see, is this my child? How can anybody be so beautiful? How can anybody be so beautiful? That's not possible at all. And then it said that every time she opened her eyes and looked at Krishna, she could see that Krishna kind of is becoming more beautiful than the last time she saw him. He is becoming more beautiful than the last time she saw him. So, and then again she closes her eyes and in sheer disbelief, how can anybody be so beautiful? I mean, how could someone so beautiful become my child? How is this possible? Is this true, or am I seeing a dream? Or is this a dream or a hallucination, or what is it? Is this actually true? Is this actually happening to me? Am I blessed with a child like this? That's what Yashodamai is thinking. So, pages and pages of description is given about Yashodamaya's qualities of bhakti. Unique, intense bhakti. And there are many songs I mentioned to you, written by our acharyas. I thought I'll just mention one such song. There's a famous acharya in our Madhva Sampradaya, whose name is Purandara Dasa. He is known to have written something like 40,000 songs in glorification of Krishna and bhakti. Very amazing person. I believe, though he wrote so many, only about 3,000 or 4,000 are currently available. So generally, many of his songs are composed in what is known as Carnatic or Hindustani music. And they sing. Practically no concert anywhere in the world of Carnatic music will complete without a song composed by Purandara Dasa. He is in the Madhva Parampara. So it is said that he used to go around towns and villages singing these songs in glorification of Krishna. And how could he not write one song dedicated to Yashoda? He also wrote. I'm aware of one or two songs, but definitely he might have written more. But one or two songs are there even to this day. And one of them is particularly famous, very famous. Anybody who's a music buff here will know that Purandara Dasa's song composed known as Jagadodharana. Anybody has heard? Nobody has heard? Jagadodharana. Adisidal Yashode. It's in Kannada. It's a very famous song. Like I'm telling you, no Carnatic music recital will end without a song by Purandara Dasa, and they're all bhakti songs, authentic Madhva Parampara. It's also known as the Dasara Parampara. Purandara Dasa, Kanaka Dasa, like that. After Purandara Dasa came Kanaka Dasa, and he also wrote many songs on bhakti songs, which are sung. Now, this song goes like this, Jagadodharana. Very simple song, 4-5 lines. I'll read it for you and then I'll tell you what it means. Jagadodharana maganendu tiliyuta adisidale Yashode. It says, here is this person, Krishna, who is actually the protector of the whole world, the whole universe. His presence is what brings good fortune to the world. Jagado Uddharana, someone whose mere presence brings auspiciousness, happiness, prosperity, peace, joy to the people of this world. Actually, Krishna's presence brings joy even to, plants, flowers, trees, mountains, rivers, everything, birds, insects, peacocks, cows, calves. Simply, he is known as Jagadodharana. It says, Jagadodharana maganendu tiliyuta adisidal Yashode. That means this lady, Yashoda, thought that supreme, one and the only Lord, Krishna, one and the only, he cannot be compared with Lord Shiva or Brahma or anybody. He is one and only Krishna. This lady looked at Krishna as a child. Jagadodharana maganendu tiliyuta adisidal Yashode. Maganendu means thought of Krishna as her son. And she played with him, treated him like her son. This song is very nicely sung. I mean, if you want, you can hear. Miss Subbalakshmi, the famous lady, she has sung that song too. And the next line says, Sugunanta Rangana Adisidal Yashode. Suguna Ananta Rangana Adisidal Yashode. Suguna means here is this Krishna who is an ocean, who is a reservoir of Suguna. Suguna means all virtuous, nice, auspicious, glorious, worshipable qualities. Suguna Anta Rangana. Suguna Anta. I mean, ocean of unlimited, something like that. Sugunanta, Rangana. Ranga means Ranganatha, Lord Ranga. Adisidala Yashode. That mother Yashoda was playing with him. And then Purandarasa says, Nigamake Silukada Aganita Mahimana. That means Nigamake Silukada. Nigamake Silukada means trapping. Nigamake Silukada means it's impossible to trap Krishna or bind him or catch him forcibly against his will. Forcibly against his will. You can't catch him. Krishna has to come, that's all. Whenever he decides, in whatever form, whenever he decides he will come, he will come. Nigamake Silukada. That means you cannot say, all right, now I'll capture Krishna by reading Bhagavatam or, reading the Vedas. That alone is not the sufficient thing. Our effort should be there, but Krishna also has to agree. Nigamake Silukada means you cannot trap, you cannot catch Krishna. In other words, Purandarasa is saying it's not ordinarily possible, it's impossible to do with Krishna whatever you like. You can't do that. Krishna has to agree and Krishna has to come and Krishna Silukada, Nigamake Silukada, Sugunanta Rangana. That means he has unbelievable, Nigamake Silukada, Aganita Mahimana. Aganita Mahimana. See, Sanskrit, it's a pretty interesting language, very poetic, so nice. Aganita Mahimana. Aganita. Aganita means countless. Aganita. Ganita means countable. Aganita means countless. Here's this Lord who has countless qualities. Aganita Mahimana. Actually not qualities. Mahimana means greatnesses. Greatness. Mahima. Mahima means greatness. Aganita Mahimana. Uncountable, incountable, infinite great qualities that the Lord had. That kind of Krishna, Adisidal Yashode. Yashoda played with him like a child. See, when we use the word Adisidal Yashode, in Kannada Adisidalu means not that played with him. That's not the literal meaning. Played with him means she made Krishna play according to her wish. Adisidal Yashode. She made Krishna play according to her wish. So Purandaradasa, step by step, is glorifying, he is expressing his wonder at the glory of Yashoda. Magugala Manikyana Adisidal Yashode. Magugala Manikyana. Magu means child. Magugala Manikyana. Here is this Krishna who is a pearl among children. Pearl, who's like a diamond, pearl among children. Who's a diamond or a pearl among children. Adisidal Yashode. In other words, one stick in the hand, Yashoda controlled him. Sit down, Krishna sits down. Don't open your mouth? No. Keep quiet? Yes. Lunchtime, come and eat? Okay, mama. Don't disturb me while I'm working? Yes. Adisidalu means actually controlling Krishna like a mother would control the child. Played with Krishna. That's the literal meaning. Okay. And in the last verse, Purandaradasa says, Anoraniyana Mahato Mahimana. Mahato Mahiyana. Anoraniyana. That means this Krishna who can become smaller than the smallest or greater than the greatest. He can become smaller than the smallest or greater than the greatest. That Krishna, that Supreme Lord Krishna, Adisidal Yashode. Adisidal Yashode it's known as the Pallavi in the song. There's something called the lines which are Pallavi, then there's a Charana. Pallavi means lines that repeat. Charana means you repeat the Pallavi and then sing the next Charana, paragraph. Repeat the Pallavi, sing the next Charana. Charana means the paragraph. So, this is an immortal song. I mean, you people may not know, but if you come to Karnataka, it's one of the most popular songs bhakti songs that people are familiar with is Jagadodharana. And then the last line goes like this. Aprameyana Adisiddha Yashoda. Aprameya means somebody who is immeasurable, unlimited, infinitely large. Aprameya means something that, cannot be measured. So, the Acharyas have also pinpointed, separately, exclusively spoken about the glories of Yashoda. It has not gone unnoticed. Acharyas have noticed that Yashoda, see, it is mentioned that in Aishwarya Vatsalya, there is Devaki and Vasudeva. But among the Madhurya Vatsalya, the position Madhurya Vatsalya is given to Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, Rohini, the wives of other senior gopis who breastfed Krishna, and all the other gopis, elderly gopis for whom Krishna was like a child. Of course, there are one set of gopis for whom Krishna was their boyfriend, that's different. But there are the little elderly ones for whom Krishna was their child. So they had that child only, not Krishna the Supreme Lord. So it's called Madhurya Vatsalya. Among them, Yashoda is the primary example, even more glorious than Nanda Maharaj. It is also mentioned that Yashoda Maya had another unique privilege. That is, nobody ever chastised Krishna and got away with it. In other words, nobody ever scolds Krishna, chastises him or anything and gets away. I mean, Shishupala tried, but Krishna told him 108 and that's all. After that, you make this offense or make this mistake, then I'll be forced to punish you. Duryodhana tried and Krishna arranged that Duryodhana is punished. Nobody can scold Krishna and chastise him. But this privilege was available only to Yashoda Maya. Yashoda Maya could discipline Krishna, could correct Krishna, could scold Krishna, could punish Krishna. And Krishna would take it. Simply he would take it. One time Balaram goes to Yashoda Maya and tells Yashoda Maya, you know whom you're tying up, whom you're binding? You think it's one little kid, right? He's not. He is the Supreme Lord. He is the Lord of the universe. He is the person who incarnates every yuga. He is the creator. He is this, he is that. And you are making a mistake. I'm warning you. Don't treat Krishna like this. He may be a little child, but this is too much. You can't tie him up like this. This is very cruel. How can you treat him? He is the Lord. This is not correct etiquette. Like that, Balaram will tell. And then Yashoda Maya will ask him, oh, and so where did you learn all this? And by the way, who are you? Then Balaram will tell, I am Ananta Shesha. Wherever Krishna goes, I go. And when he lies down, I become the serpent, and then he gives a lecture about himself. And then Balaram will think, yeah, okay, Yashoda Maya is listening. Yashoda Maya is continuing to do her work, and she says, all right, now, so who are you? You tell me. So Balaram is giving a lecture and says, so better I'm telling you, leave him now. Don't tie him up like this. It's not correct. Then Yashoda Maya will look at him and tell Balaram, either you stop talking this kind of hallucinatory nonsense, or I'm going to tie you up also and tie you up next to Krishna. Now you're trying to fool me, you're telling all this nonsense, that he's Lord and you're Ananta Shesha and this and that. You people have no other work. Oh, all the Supreme Lords have come and born in my compound. Whom are you trying to fool? Just keep quiet, do your business, or I'll tie you up also. Then Balaram, it appears, will go to Krishna and say, I told you. Because Krishna will tell Balaram, you go and tell Yashoda Maya, tell, if nothing works, you tell about the truth about me. If nothing works, tell the truth. I'm getting frustrated being tied up like this. I don't like it. Balaram will say, I know it won't work. Krishna says, no, you tell her properly, emphatically, who I am, like that. Then Balaram will go and do whatever Krishna does, asks him. Then he comes back and says, I told you, nothing will work with Yashoda Maya. She's very angry and she said, if I talk any more of this nonsense, she's going to tie me up also next to you, to another stone mortar. So I told you not to do this mischief at home. You didn't listen to me. See what happened to you. This is Yashoda Maya. This is the meaning of Adi Sidalu. Adi Sidalu means one stick in the hand or something. She completely subjugates Krishna. It is said that in front of Yashoda Maya, Krishna gives up everything. Gives up everything out of surrendering to her love. Vatsalya. He gives up the thought that he is the Supreme Lord. Everything. All his powers and this and that. He accepts a punishment. He accepts a chastisement. He accepts being tied up to a mortar. He accepts everything. And when Yashoda is having a stick in her hand and threatening, Krishna actually becomes terrified. He says, what is this? She's chasing me like one Bhadrakali or something. Krishna is thinking. He's actually terrified. And then, only after seeing terror in the eyes of Krishna, Yashoda Maya gives up. Trying to punish him. Then Yashoda Maya then starts thinking, oh, maybe I chastised him too much. What will happen if he runs away into the forest out of fear of me? It is said that she tied him to a mortar to prevent him from running away. She was so scared that he'll run away, and then she's thinking, who will take care of him in the forest? What will happen to him? There are thorns and stones and, nowadays a lot of uninvited demons are coming here. Who knows who will come next? So Yashoda Maya becomes very, very scared and ties him up. So this is the glory of Yashoda Maya. It is not possible to sufficiently glorify. The Acharyas have said that it is not possible, just as much as it is impossible to complete the glorification of Krishna. Lord Ananta has been trying to glorify and mention about the qualities of Krishna in his 1,000 mouths from the time of creation, and not repeating the same quality again. Same way, it is not possible to sufficiently glorify Yashoda Maya. Adi Sidal Yashode. That mother Yashoda made Krishna to dance to her tunes. That's the right way of the word, right meaning of the word. Adi Sidalu Yashode. So the Acharyas speak like that. In fact, there's also another song, but this time it's composed by Annamacharya. This is also about Mother Yashoda. I'll just speak a little bit about that. And also here, there are 5 points where they say that okay, we'll just talk about the song now. This is a famous Telugu song composed by Annamacharya. It goes something like this. The title of the song is Muddugare Yashoda. I don't know if people have heard that song. Anybody has heard? Muddugare Yashoda. Who has heard? Oh, you have heard? He also has heard. So, this is a famous song. This again captures the unique position of, you could say, Yashoda and her associates. So here it says, Muddugare Yashoda, Mungita Madhyamu Vidu. That means a bit like, if you translate this into English, it means that Mungita Muthyamu Vidu, not Madhyamu, Muthyamu. Muthyamu means pearl. Muddugare Yashoda means that two things are there. Yashoda Maya is showering kisses on Krishna. She's kissing Krishna practically all over his face and everywhere. Muddugare, Muddu means kissing. It also means Krishna is very cute, very beautiful, very cute, very attractive. When you see the child, the first thing you feel like doing is grabbing him and kissing him. Muddugari Yashoda. And that Krishna is accepting Mother Yashoda's kisses all over, silently appreciating and loving it, because he's receiving so much love, Vatsalya. So Krishna is enjoying it, how Yashoda is cuddling him and pampering him. And then it says, Mungita Muthyamu Vidumu. Mungita Muthyamu means pearl. He's the pearl of the house. He's like the pearl. He's like the jewel. He's like the diamond. He's like the jewel of not just the house, not just of the family of Nanda Maharaj, not just of Gokul Vrindavan. Krishna is the pearl of all the lives of all the devotees. Krishna is like the pearl for all the devotees. Krishna is like the pearl for the devatas. Krishna is like the pearl for devotees. Krishna is like the pearl, diamond, whatever. Most precious possession. Krishna is for all the devotees. The land of Vrindavan, Bhudevi, when Krishna appears, she is so delighted to have Krishna walking on her surface. And then it says, Diddarani Mahima Devaki Sutudu. Diddarani Mahima. Diddarani Mahima means, I'm sure you understand the word Diddarani. Everybody knows Diddarani means? Diddarani means? Nobody knows? Huh? Not like that. Diddarani means can't be erased. Can't be, Diddarani Mahima. That means Krishna's glory is so perfect. All his qualities are so perfect that there's no need to change any quality in Krishna. You understand what I'm saying? He's so perfect. He's most cute. He's most beautiful. He's most kind. He's more loving. Most fun-loving. He's most humorous. He's more forgiving. He's most attractive. Most mystical. Most full of adventure, mischief. Most full of mischief. He is so full of mischief that in another song it is pointed out that one gopi comes and complains to Yashoda. This is very supremely mischievous of Krishna, what he does. Comes and complains to Mother Yashoda. She says, how mischievous, how naughty Krishna is. She complains to Yashoda. She says, she one time she was walking by or something and she saw Krishna. And the 5-year-old kid, Krishna is walking. And Krishna, is walking Krishna is always dressed up like a drama costume artist or something. He's got peacock feathers, nicely painted face, this alankar on his face. He's got a flute. He's got a turban. He's wearing fancy clothes. He's got a big smile. He's walking with a nice gait. Gait means very majestic. He's got a mischievous smile, soft skin. His jewels on his body are shining and they make a nice sound when he's walking. And sometimes he's holding the flute in his hand and walking is so mesmerizingly beautiful. So this gopi is thinking, here is this 5-year-old kid. It's our incredible good fortune that a child like this is growing up in our Gokul, Vrindavan, Gokul. So she says very spontaneously, she picks up Krishna and embraces him. Little Krishna, 5 years old. Then Krishna embraces her also very tightly and plants a kiss on her lips, exactly like her husband used to. She becomes startled and Krishna winks at her and then goes. So she shocks. This lady is shocked. She said, I thought he's a little kid. What is he doing? Then she will go and complain to Yashoda Maya. I'm feeling so embarrassed to tell this. I thought Krishna is a kid, but he's so mischievous. I can't believe it. I'm feeling embarrassed to tell this. And Krishna is looking at her and smiling or something like that. So, the gopis of Vrindavan, their Leela, their kind of loving exchanges they have with Krishna is mixed with Madhurya, Vatsalya at its peak. It's the highest level. We can't even imagine. And Krishna is having not only is he enjoying, but it is said that he's drowning all the residents of Vrindavan in an ocean of happiness. It's said that every time Yashoda would look at Krishna, every day she would think, Krishna was not so beautiful yesterday. He's looking even more beautiful today. What happened suddenly? Actually, it is said that Krishna becomes so enchantingly beautiful when he receives love from the devotees. And when Krishna becomes more and more beautiful, the devotees also become more and more blissful. So, Prabhupada explains that sometimes there is a competition. Krishna becomes very attractive, devotees become more pleased. And when Krishna sees that devotees are pleased, he becomes happy and hence more attractive. So, like that, there are unlimited shlokas and stories. I just don't have the time to read more or cover more about Krishna and his. So, I thought we'll spend today some time talking about the mothers of Vrindavan, mothers of Krishna, Devaki, specifically Yashoda. We generally talk about Krishna. So, I thought today we should talk about the mothers of Vrindavan, Gokul, especially Yashoda Maiya, and learn about her glories and her eternal fame. Yashoda means, Yasha means fame. Actually, her name is Yashodha. Da means giver, giver of fame, happiness, prosperity, auspiciousness, benedictions, good times, prosperity. So when Yashoda comes into Nanda Maharaj's house and family, already Nanda Maharaj is, anyway, because he is destined to be the father of Krishna, he's already very famous and all those. But these qualities become many times multiplied when Yashoda enters her family, his family. Yasha, Yasha, giver of Yashoda, giver of fame, auspiciousness, name, happiness, prosperity. So that's how Yashoda is described in in the Vedic scriptures. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. All right, thank you. Any questions or we'll stop here? Any comments? All right, so we have the Janmashtami festival today and tomorrow. I'm sure all of you have so many services to do. You're all very busy. I pray to Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan that we're always immersed in reading about Krishna, studying about Krishna, understanding the glories of Krishna, the glories of the devotees of Krishna, especially as per the books written by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charana Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. According to the Guru Parampara, we have to read and understand and dedicate our life in offering selfless, intense, loving service to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.